Welcome to the hotel. What can I do for you? Okay, yeah, I can definitely help you with that. So, is this your first time in New York? Well, welcome. Yeah, the World's Fair is very exciting. So, let me um, help you with exactly what you're looking for. And I can do that because we have here an official detailed map of the New York World's Fair. Okay, so I'll open this up, get you familiar with how the fair is laid out, and that way you won't have a problem when you get there understanding what it's all about. So let's open this up. Okay, here we go. So this is the layout of the World's Fair, and I'll take you through it section by section in big chunks, and then I'll go through and point out some highlights. How does that sound? Okay. So let's start here at the main gate, gate number 1, and here we have the Long Island Railroad. Comes in this way and drops off this very convenient way to get here, and it drops off right at the main gate. Otherwise, if you want to drive, you can take the Van Wyck Expressway or the Long Island Expressway, and that will take you up to the parking, which is up here, and you can come across this way. But I'm going to start here at the main gate. Now, the fair is laid out into a few basic sections. Here we have across the top is the area dedicated to industry. We have this first middle section here in pink, which is international. Then we have the lower middle part, which is the United States. And then down here at the very bottom, we have transportation, which is kind of like industry, but it has its own section. So that is the general layout of the park. But there's also some very nice highlights. Starting here at the top, we have the entire industrial section is centered around the pool of industry. And we have the promenade of industry is the street that goes around it. Coming off here, we have the avenue of research, as well as the avenue of discovery. We have the fountain of planets right here, arrayed along the court of the universe. Coming down off of either side of that, we have the Hoover Promenade and the Eisenhower Promenade for the presidents. And in the middle, we have the Fountain of the Fairs. So this provides kind of this central backbone of this section of the park. And it comes down here through the international section, the Pool of Reflections, the Court of Peace. Then we have the Court of the President of the United States. And then the main central focus of the entire park here is the Unisphere, which is sponsored by United States Steel, and it is floating in a pool of water that is called the Fountain of the Continents. And off of that is the Pool of the Tricentennial. And coming across here is the Avenue of the States, coming all the way across. New York City has its pavilion right here. And then we have a Grand Central Parkway. So that forms like the middle main section and divides the fair into two major sections. We also have the Avenue of Commerce. We have a lunar fountain and a solar fountain, court of the moon and court of the sun. So we have definitely an emphasis on our space exploration and our efforts to go to the moon. Now, starting here at the main gate, we have the House of Good Taste. We have Gotham Plaza, which is a nice little green space right as you walk in. We have American Express, has a building here. If you ever have problems with your credit cards, you can go here. And we have the Festival of Gas here. And you can see the building kind of looks like two gas burners, doesn't it? We have the Mormon Pavilion. We have RCA. And these little teacups here represent the Brass Rail Refreshment and Souvenir Centers. So this is where you can get some drinks, something to eat, and do a little bit of shopping as well. We have two of them right here. We have one pavilion that is a tribute to Churchill. Very fascinating. And here we have the Protestant and the Orthodox Center. They are colored in the industrial section. Yes, I realize that. But I think that's where they gave them space, and so they just went ahead and colored them. I don't think this is a political commentary on anything. At least I hope not. And here we have Oregon, which is kind of different. You'd think it would be down here with the rest of the states, but it's not. Oregon is up here by the Flushing River, and has some beautiful boats here tied up to the river. We have Mastro's Pizza, which I think you should definitely try. If you've never had pizza, I definitely think this is the place to try it. New York is developing a very, very nice reputation for some good pizza. Yes, it is Italian, and that's kind of where it got its start. But we've definitely made it our own here in New York. Here we have also a building dedicated to American interiors and Formica. So you and the missus can go through these sections and pick out your new home, or what your new home will look like on the inside at least. We have Travelers Insurance, and we have a nice big building for the Bell Systems. Telephones are everywhere nowadays, and thanks to Bell Systems for giving us that technology. So you'll be able to find all the latest and greatest telephone systems there and what's coming up for the future. Here we have a bunch of little small pavilions. This is called Fiesta, and it's just a really fun place to go. Lots of things to do. We have the Equitable Life Assurance. Sounds pretty dull, but it's a nice place. And here we have IBM. They have their own pavilion dedicated just to the things that they are working on and the marvelous technological advances. I even hear they have a computer inside of there. It's amazing. It's huge. It takes up like 3 different rooms, but it's so powerful. And here on the other side, we have General Electric. All the different gadgets they have for the home. So you can definitely come here to American Interiors, then to Formica, and then make your way down to General Electric, and you'll have your whole house outfitted. And then if you've got a sweet tooth, there's the Chunky Candy Factory. Always a favorite here at the park. We have Scott Paper, Continental Insurance, and Parker Pen. And then Clairol. Definitely not leaving the ladies out in this World's Fair. The Boy Scouts of America have a really fascinating pavilion here. Lots of things to do, an introduction to who they are and what they're doing. And then the Russian Orthodox Church has a very small but beautiful pavilion here. The Better Living Center, Julimar Farms, Schaefer, and over here we have Pepsi-Cola. If you need some refreshment, they're over here. And on the other side, we have Coca-Cola. So I think they tried to separate those two as far as possible. What else do we have here? We have 7-Up, Dynamic Maturity, very interesting if you're kind of getting up there in years. And DuPont, another powerhouse of our country, coming up with some very fascinating things as far as chemistry goes. Johnson Wax, and General Cigar. So definitely something for the man. He can go here and peruse the cigars while the missus goes to the Clairol booth. And of course we have Eastman Kodak, definitely not to miss. All of their latest technology for cameras and photos and albums and prints. And that's pretty much the general gist of what you'll find in the industrial section. And then beneath that we have a wonderful array of international booths. So you may want to do this in the morning and then do this in the afternoon around lunchtime. You'll have an amazing array of all different types of very interesting foods to try and taste. We have Korea, India, Ireland, Mexico, Caribbean, Republic of China, Polynesia, the United Arab Republic, Jordan, Morocco, Sudan, Greece, Philippines, Pakistan, Malaysia, African Pavilion, very fascinating there, Switzerland, and the Switzerland Pavilion has a Swiss sky ride, which you can go back and forth across the park, crossing the pool of reflection here, and you can kind of get an overview of the entire area. Highly recommend that as well. We have American/Israel Pavilion, the Hall of Free Enterprise, International Plaza, the Pavilion of Paris, and Sweden. And over here we have the Vatican. Very nice, beautiful, large pavilion for them. And we have a Belgian village. Very fascinating to walk through that. And here we have Christian Science and the Lithuanian Wayside Shrine. Very beautiful there as well. And off of that we have the Garden of Meditation, which is surrounding the First National City Bank. So a very wide variety of things. And on this side we have the Masonic Center here. We have the Billy Graham Pavilion, very fascinating. We have a British Lion pub. And then we have the pavilion called 2000 Tribes, which is a pavilion dedicated to Bible translation throughout all the different languages of the world. Very fascinating. So then we move down to the next section, and I'm going to fold the map up here so we can see it better. Here we go. And this part is dedicated to the different states. So we'll start here with Maryland and Montana. They have a very long, skinny pavilion right up against the railroads. Long Island Railroad has their own pavilion right next to it. We have Illinois, New Mexico. These are centered around the Kennedy Circle and the United States Pavilion, which is kind of a summary of everything. Oklahoma has a very nice natural, beautiful trails going through their pavilion, a small building. And Hollywood has its own pavilion right there, a little lot, kind of how they shoot movies and stuff like that. Really interesting to see. The New England states have a bunch of small little pavilions all right next to each other. And New Jersey has a very interesting geometrical pavilion here next to New York City. Wisconsin is here. New York State has a pavilion. Missouri, Alaska, Westinghouse. Westinghouse is not a state. I assume that they could not fit in here in the International Pavilion, so we brought them down here. But again, they didn't seem to change the color of it. And here we have Bourbon Street and Minnesota. And then over here, you cross this bridge, the Meadow Lake Bridge, and you come into definitely probably the part of the fair that the kids will have the most fun at. And it is centered around the Florida Water Ski Show, which takes out here on Meadow Lake. And the Florida Pavilion is here, and the Hawaii Pavilion is on the other side. And surrounding all of this is a ton of things to do for the kids. We have a carnival up here. We have a wax museum, a log flume ride, carousel park, and a continental park with a whole bunch of other different thrill rides. Yes, you can definitely take more than one day to go through this. And I highly recommend at least 2 or 3 to really get the full effect of everything there is to see. I think if you try to do everything in one day, you'll wear yourself out completely and you will not have a very enjoyable time. So then we come down here to the final section, which is the transportation section. And it is dominated, of course, by the 3 big automakers. We have Ford over here on this side, and then General Motors here, and Chrysler has this entire section right here in the middle for themselves. We have the Transportation and Travel Pavilion, which is kind of a very good place to start to get an introduction for everything that's here. U.S. Rubber, Sinclair, Avis Antique Rent-A-Car Rides, little fun thing for the kids. And we have the Lowenbrow Gardens, if you would like to take a break and rest and have a beer or 2. Greyhound has a pavilion. The National Maritime Union Park. And we have an auto thrill show which runs throughout the day. I definitely would encourage you to take the young ones there and see that. Here we have the Port Authority in a helicopter pad, which I don't think you'll be traveling by helicopter, but there it is. We have the Arlington Hat Museum. Again, not quite sure what that has to do with transportation, but there it is. Here we have the United States Space Park and the Hall of Science. And that is off of the Fountain of Progress North and the Fountain of Progress South. And the Avenue of Science, the Avenue of Transportation, the Avenue of Automation, and the Avenue of Transportation. So the Avenue of Transportation kind of goes around this way, it seems. So then we have the bus terminal, but I think you guys said you're not traveling by bus, so you don't have to worry about that. So do you have any questions? I know this is kind of generally a rough tour, but I think it'll help give you the general layout and help you not be too confused as you enter the park. Yeah, you can definitely take this with you. Yeah. You can see this map was printed up for us by the Humble Oil and Refining Company. So they were gracious enough to help us out and help you out with knowing your way around the park. So, and the back of the map has a more general area, kind of a zoomed out view of the park. We have everything we just covered here in the lake area. And here you can see some of the parking. 2 large parking areas here. A large parking area over here. And then way over here by Flushing Bay, we have some more parking. And there's shuttles that go back and forth this way. Okay? Sure, not a problem. I can help you guys anytime. I hope you have a wonderful stay here. And I hope you have a wonderful time at the fair and you bring back lots of souvenirs. Okay? Alrighty.